typically you don't want to buy used carburetors.
Okay.
You don't want to you just do not.
That's why you go through and rebuild carburetors, period.
It goes beyond rebuilding, though. There's
Okay.
all kinds of bad things that can happen in places that you don't know about. A used carburetor's like walking to a dark alley in a neighborhood you're not familiar with. It's probably going to be fine, but every once in a while you might get mugged. Hey guys, welcome to Overcrest. I'm Kris.
And I'm Jake.
Oh, man, I'm sitting out here looking at this window in front of me. I hate window light, by the way, doing this because the light's constantly changing. But I'm watching, it was just storming, and I'm watching my roof, and it's like, I got like a hail alert on my phone or whatever. I'm looking at the roof like, please hail. Please hail.
Right.
Just please hail.
Need a new roof on the new place.
I do. It leaks in the kitchen.
Really?
It leaks in the kitchen.
That's not ideal.
And it goes, you know how I have these huge beams that go through the house that are like 8 inches by 6. They're these massive beams, and it drips right out of the beam.
The water just follows the beam.
It's the thing. I can go up there and I can see where there should be flashing and there's not. Like I can see it. I'm like, oh, this is why it leaks.
Wow.
And I think it only leaks in a very specific circumstance of
like the wind is,
Yeah, the wind is a certain way, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it's a big deal, but it's still
so is your
like
ceiling sheetrock just like shot?
No, I don't think it happens very often.
Okay.
Like you really have to investigate if you want to see it, but it's
ladies and gentlemen, Chris Kluhl, the homeowner.
Chris Kluhl, the homeowner. Well, the old house homeowner. The other house I never had a single problem with. Built in 93. Like I think feel the utility of the furnace and stuff, like things like that, but the structural part of the house.
Yeah.
And I know you probably struggle with this too. What?
Oh yeah.
Oh, 1977. When's yours?
77. Okay.
When's yours?
78.
Okay, so I'm sure you probably have the same issues. It's an old house.
Right.
They creak,
ours
they leak,
luckily was renovated not long ago. So has a new roof.
Mine has never
has
been
an
renovated.
addition.
It's all it's been
still questionable things.
Well maintained here, but not renovated.
Here's what I've noticed though with my house, and this is way off topic and boring, but anytime there was like a renovation or addition or maybe even a new owner, you can tell there's like 5 different guys that wired different pieces of the house. Yeah. And like I don't mind wiring, but it's very obvious to me like who the hell was in here, because the other here it was like super organized and like done super well. And
I'm second owner, so there's none of that. It's just
cool.
What it was. So it's
you know what else? I think we're going to talk about a couple things, but fitting for Father's Day.
Volvo. I got a Volvo discussion, and then you went and picked up a vehicle.
Another C10 with my dad, and he is now the second owner of a 1961 truck, which is kind of cool.
Okay, so tell me about this. First of all, behind you are carburetors that I sold you.
So
when I needed,
listen to this.
I needed
listen
money.
to this.
I needed money. Yeah, and I'm like, I need
Been
money.
There.
Jake has money. He needs carburetors. He told me he does. I will sell Jake these carburetors and then give him a steal of a deal on one-of-a-kind velocity.
I don't think it was that big of a steal after looking at other prices. There's some on Marketplace right now for like $700
for the carbs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you have 3 Webers, not 3 garbage.
Those were 2 Weber 45s
for $700.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're at like $1,000 for the carbs, and then you've got custom metal.
And what did I pay you?
Stacks. I don't remember. Probably like $1,500 or something.
Yeah, it was like 17, I think.
Yeah, that's a good price. It's a good price. The carbs are not. Well. They're in good shape.
Yes.
They're not. You don't like. Typically, you don't want to buy used carburetors.
Okay.
You don't want to just. You just. Do not.
That's why you go through and rebuild carburetors. Period.
It goes beyond rebuilding, though. There's all kinds of bad things that can happen in places that you don't know about. Yeah,
like in an old house.
That's what I was just thinking. It's like walking in carburetor, like a used carburetor is like walking to a dark alley in a neighborhood you're not familiar with. It's probably going to be fine, but every once in a while you might get mugged. Oh man, I bought them, and the thing is that people will sell carburetors when they don't know. They just like, I'm lost. I don't know what to do. So
Right, like these don't work. I don't know why, so I bought a new one and I'll sell this one.
Exactly.
Which
those
is exactly what you did to me.
No, those work great. They synced up great. They tuned great. They were awesome. No problems. Yes. However, my PMOs in my car, I've never been able to get right, and they're still in there to this day. So I'm going to take them off, and I'm going to sell them to some sucker. Haha.
Can I buy them?
Do you want to buy my PMOs?
Maybe.
For what? Oh, for your future.
My 2.5 short stroke build needs more carburation.
I don't think you need 48s, dude.
No, probably not.
No, not for
probably not.
No, you need 40s. Yeah. You need maybe dude. I don't know 2.5. I don't know if you need anything that big.
Rev to like a lot of guys rev these things to 8 or 9.
I know, but that's
probably won't.
But,
I mean, twin plug 10.5 to 1.
Yeah, I revved to 8, and it's fine. Even if you rev that high, I don't know that you need this much carburation.
Right, because at some point the volumetric efficiency goes down, and you're not pulling any more volume of air.
Especially your drivability is really going to be really bad. You're going to be choking these things down to like 32 or 34 or something. It's just silly. It doesn't make any sense.
What did I run in this motor? I have 30s on it right now in those Zeniths, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You probably, with the new motor, you'd be choking down to 32, 34.
I ran this with 32s, and it ran really well up top. And
but it drove like dog shit around town, right? Yeah, I've got 36s or 38s now, is what I have in mind. So it all makes sense. So if you're going to be choking a 48 millimeter carburetor down to 32 or 34 on a Venturi, not good. That's not going to run well.
No?
No.
Does it matter? Do they make smaller PMOs? Or are they all one size?
Yeah, they make one size smaller. Yeah, they do.
Oh, okay.
They make one size smaller.
I probably want ones that actually work,
FCP
by the way. But yes. I said I would probably buy ones that work better anyways.
Yeah, just get a new set. Just buy a new set of carburetors. Just buy new. Buy new carburetors. Unless you're... So what I'm thinking about getting instead are... Well, this is going off track right away, but that's okay.
Yep.
Either I'm going to do ITBs and go fuel injection and do PMO throttle bodies is a thought. Okay. Or I'm thinking about going with, what is it? No, I think my PMOs are 46. What are they? I don't even, maybe 46. 46, 48. Anyway, what do they make in Webers? What size are the Webers? Are they 46s?
Do you get this way too, where it's like, I know everything about this car or this carburetor, but I haven't looked at it in like 3 years, so actually I don't remember anything about it?
Oh, yeah, here we go. Okay, so they're 46s, not 48s. I apologize. They are built and made and designed off of sorry, I heard your question, but my train of thought is going.
Yes. So they're modeled after Webers with improvements.
The Weber 46 millimeter IDA.
Yes.
Is what they're modeled after.
Yep.
And every old guy I talk to at the track, at Monterey, at Road America, says the PMOs make more power.
Yep.
They're really good at making power. They are really good at race car stuff, but they don't do well at drivability. And the ones that do well at drivability are the Webers. The Weber 46 is just better. But the problem is everybody wants those on their 906, is it? Is that what you
think? What do you mean? There aren't that many 906s out there.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to, guys put them on the 906, they'll put them on their 914-6 race car. Any 911 race car that's old will have 46 Webers, which you could do a 46 Weber. That you could do. But I don't know that I would do a PMO just for the reasons discussed. Where, drivability.
I mean,
this is just old guys. I have no
friend Carburetor Dave wanted me to stick with the 4010 Zeniths so that he could just try to build them up to make it support it.
Monkey around with them a little bit.
Yeah, but that's still only a 40.
Yeah.
But
maybe the 46 Weber would work well for you. Or you can, I'll sell you my PMOs if you want to try them out. That's
Jake's secondhand carburetor shop.
Anyway, so Father's Day, you and your dad. So how does this?
Well, Father's Day was yesterday.
I want to ask questions.
All right, you go ahead.
Why are those carburetors not on your truck? Number one, what are you doing with the truck? It's been in a state of no progress for a couple of years.
Which is great because then I don't have to do anything with it and I can just drive it. However,
you haven't been
do you know what I just bought yesterday?
A C10?
Well, that was 2 days ago, but I didn't. That was my dad.
Yesterday. No, I don't know what you bought.
I bought the very rare as hen's teeth correct manifold for these.
Oh, you did?
I bought it. It's on its way.
Okay, so the
I knew you were going to ask about this. I bought the manifold for that.
You bought the manifold just because you knew I was going to harass you.
And I was also like, okay, so let me start from the beginning a little bit, because this is another what gen do they call it? They don't really talk about these trucks in generations.
What is this engine called?
The motor in the C10?
Yeah.
It's actually called the Turbo Thrift 6.
Turbo Thrift?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know if anything with the word thrift in it is immediately less.
Because it was good fuel economy, Chris.
I bet it was.
And they didn't know about turbocharging in 62, but it was turbo.
Right, you keep going. I want to try and find a video of these things lighting up with.
It will be few and far between, but just do Weber side draft Chevy 6.
Okay.
Because Turbo Thrift is a specific 230 to 250 cubic inch, whereas that one. There is a dude on Instagram from Brazil, and it's pretty sweet.
Oh, it's not very common, is it?
Oh, no, it is not.
Is it
which is why these things?
No, that's Chrysler.
Nope, it's a straight 6. They are rare as hen's teeth.
Well, we'll just have to record sound when you do it. Okay, so you got the manifold coming.
Yeah.
I gave you a ton of linkage parts.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to figure out some way. How does your linkage now?
This
cable?
This kit I got was a used kit because again,
it's a kit.
There's one guy. Well, here's the thing. It used to be that Clifford Manifolds, I don't think they're in business anymore, made these manifolds for these carburetors on this truck. They stopped making them years ago. There's one guy that now like recast them and makes them, but every time I've seen or talked to him, he's been out of stock, and it's kind of like he does a run when he feels like it and when he has a few guys ask him. So I was like, well, they're not for sale. So, however, on his site, he goes, oh, I do have one like takeoff. It was the original Cliffords, the old school ones, and he had like the linkage and stuff with it that's for sale. Just this one. And so I bought that.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, very difficult.
Wow. How much was it?
The manifold with the kit?
Yeah.
$800.
Okay. I found one. It's vintage New Old Stock Clifford 3x2 Chevy intake manifold, 250, 292 rat rod.
Yeah.
Is that it? Is that correct?
No.
Here.
3x2. That's not what you want.
Well, 3.
Can you share?
Yeah,
I'm share.
I'm trying.
Let me see what you're looking at. What are you looking at?
Share. Screen. I'm an old man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one. But I got mine for $800 with all the linkage and extra parts.
This thing looks rad, man. This is what's this? 8 9. What's this mean?
6 equals 8, Chris, because you could make a 6-cylinder perform better than an 8. That was like a sub-brand of Clifford. 6 equals 8.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I kind of like that.
It was their thing.
All right.
This is cool. Also,
you should have brought it in. I want to see the linkage. I want to see everything.
What?
I'm bummed that you don't have the information.
I don't have it yet. It's not here yet.
Oh, well, yeah. I guess it wouldn't be delivered immediately.
I just ordered it or bought it or whatever.
Oh, dude, look at this valve cover. Hold on. This valve cover.
Is it the cast one with the stripy boys on it? There's some cool like dress up parts. Okay, that is a Dugan head. That is an amazing head.
Okay,
that is a one-off. So these motors are counterflow. However, they are what's called a Siamese intake port, meaning it's 4 of the cylinders share 2 intakes. Whereas Dugan, he didn't make it a cross-flow head, but he made it so it's still counterflow, but it has individual with correct geometry ports for each of those. So that is only for those manifolds. The Dugan head itself is not for sale and is probably worth like $4,000 itself.
All right, well, let's look. I'm curious. Oh, this is going to be...
I don't think you'll even find them.
Yeah, probably not. This
ever.
Is all like Cummins and who knows what.
Yeah, no.
Well, okay, so that'll be here soon, and then we can start fucking around with making that thing work. I'm excited to tinker on that with you.
Then the turbo goes on.
What?
Then the turbo goes on.
Hold on. Why?
Because there's 2 ways to build this motor. The
according
motor
to who?
All of the reading I've done.
To Jacob or just the world?
Yes, the world. Hold on.
The world according to Jacob?
Hold
Oh, Jake's gone. There's two ways that you have the world. You've got the world according to Jake, which is usually wrong, and then you've got the world itself.
This is the Bible for these motors. There's one guy that has done everything on these, and everyone references this book online.
Lee Santucci?
Yep.
Lee Santucci. Okay, so why are we turbocharging this thing?
There's Lee. Because it is an iron block. It stands up to a ton of boost. They're just very strong, right? They're very strong, stout.
Is it an iron head too? Or is
yes, it is.
Okay.
Iron head, iron block, heavy, big, just tractor motor of a thing.
However, and they're low compression already.
Yes, it's 8.5 compression from the factory. The heads can be made to flow very well, but stock do not. However, the guys in Brazil like put either a 12-port counterflow head on it, and it'll rev out to like 9,000 RPM. But in order to do that, you need a different head and need to do a lot of work, a different camshaft, which you could get a rowdy camshaft for it, but then you have to change out the cam. You have to probably go to then roller rockers and like a lightweight lifter and all sorts of stuff. So instead, what you can do is turbocharge them, just literally stock, because the stock cam profile doesn't have any overlap. It works extremely well for boost. The iron block and head stand up to boost.
How does this carburetor account for boost? How does it know?
Rising rate fuel pressure regulator based on intake manifold signal. I've already done this, Chris. This is old child's play.
Jake, I'm giving you the opportunity to
shine. I know.
Shine.
I appreciate that. I'm giving
you the opportunity to shine.
It's obviously not as precise as would be a fuel injection system with but you don't have a true mass air pressure signal. Right. And so that's why a lot of guys, when they do carbureted turbocharging, they do a draw through setup, which that doesn't care about what boost level you're at. It's literally just how much air is being pulled into the turbocharger. However, then you don't have the throttle response of it. You don't have it's not as efficient because you also need to put carbon seals in the turbocharger so it doesn't just wash your oil with all the fuel charge that's coming through the carburetor. And if you have a backfire, it blows up everything because there's a lot of fuel charge everywhere pressurized. Yes, and you can't run an intercooler because you don't want it cooling.
What are you expecting for power here? What does this make for power?
300 to 400. If I do it right. Until I blow it up. No, but it's the easiest path because I just put a big old turbocharger on a cast manifold that's already made for it that bolts right on, and I boost it through these Webers.
First, we put the Webers on. Yeah, and get it running, as is. Get your fuel line set up. Get it running. Make sure it runs well, and then we can add the turbo. Does that sound okay? Can we agree to that?
Yes,
we just do one step.
Because I haven't bought the turbo or manifold yet.
Because rule number one with any carburetors is one step at a time. So let's remove that crazy rising fuel pressure shit equation out.
I'm still going to use that pressure regulator.
That's
I probably will use an electric pump and block off the mechanical pump, but then I just will have it set at atmospheric, so it'll work fine. And then I just have to run a line.
Can you run the electric pump through the mechanical pump or no?
Why the hell would you do that? No, the mechanical pump, when you go turbo, that's the limiting factor.
Okay. So let's get it running with the carburetors first. Naturally aspirated. Make sure everything works. Get your linkages figured out. Get your fuel lines figured out. Get it running. And then do the boost. Yeah. Because then hey, everything works. That way, when you add something and it doesn't work, it's because of what you added. It's not a giant mystery of what's going on, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure we're doing this.
But that's the full plan. That's why I'm not going to tear it down and do camshafts and everything else. Because if I go turbo, it's set for it, and it's great. It's good. It's all good.
Unless you're making massive power or kind of stupid, you don't really need to do camshafts anyway.
I do have another transmission to put in it, though.
You gonna do it with a manual?
It is a manual.
I mean, like on the ground,
It is on the ground.
Oh, really?
It's a Muncie 4-speed. No, it's a Muncie 4-speed right now with a granny gear. I know. It has a granny gear Muncie 4-speed. However, they are just a tractor transmission. The throw is like.
Don't you kind of like that though?
Not for what I want.
Okay.
I want it to be like a perfect mix of like period correct hot rod and vintage patina truck.
Can you put like an old semi-truck transmission in there that's got like
No.
twin sticks?
No, I already bought the transmission. It's sitting up on my
But
pallet
dude,
rack.
like a twin stick transmission would be sick.
Not
like-
really.
Yeah, that would be neat.
Maybe if I bought like a big Chevy cab over like semi
I don't
and
know,
hot rodded that.
I think
You
this
just wanna
comes
drive
from
something
the fact
with a
that
twin
I
stick.
desperately want.
I know you just want to drive a twin stick.
I
No, I have a early Tremec T5 out of a early S10 before it went to the quote world class trans, because it will bolt up, it'll have the correct ratios, it'll be a really nice quick shift, and it has a speedo drive, cable drive, as opposed to the electronic. So
Okay.
it'll all work.
So this leads us into, why are you buying another truck, or why is there another truck happening?
Yeah. So my dad and I built this 64 C10 together, and he since then has gotten a 32 hot rod project, which is coming along, and then he also bought that 914 that I kind of found for him.
And has the 914 ever left the garage?
It has left the garage rarely.
Okay,
but
I haven't seen it. It seems like such a cherry pie little car.
Oh, well, if you go to overcrestproductions.com/914, you'll find it, because it's for sale.
Jesus, dude. Let me look at this. Hold on.
It might be /pages/914. I don't think I put the redirect in there, but it is pretty
Nope.
cherry. /pages/914.
Nope, that doesn't work either. You 404. Join the drivers club. /pages/914. Nope,
Yeah.
doesn't work. Not actually for sale then. You got to get this fixed before the episode comes out so people can go see your
Hold
scam
on, I
that
found
you're
it.
running.
What is it?
This guy just puts all these cars for sale on our website.
Why
I
did
don't
it?
have the
Oh,
capability of
apparently I
doing this.
did. It's
Do not
a
try to
stupid
fix this
link.
right now.
No, I'm not. But it's pages/1976-Porsche-914. I didn't realize that's what it populated.
Okay. There it is. All right, let me pull this up here. Jesus, I can't believe this is. All right, look at this. He built it. No wonder nothing's getting done elsewhere. Okay.
Yeah.
16 grand. Wow.
That's actually supposedly.
I know.
I looked, and ChatGPT was like, "Bro, that's way too cheap. What are you doing?" That's what ChatGPT told me. And Hagerty evaluation is in there. So here's what it has and does not have going for it. It is a California car originally, no rust. It has really, really nice black paint that was a respray, but it was a surface-only respray, meaning the original Carmine red. Well, it's not even that, but like in the trunk, in the door jambs, in the footwell, it's all the original red, which is really nice.
It's kind of neat, I guess. The black and red is kind of neat. I probably would have maybe brought it.
If I would have kept it, I would have had it resprayed in the correct color. I probably would have put
60,000 original miles.
Yep.
Wow. Dang.
It's like it still has the original D-Jetronic fuel injection, with everyone usually rips out and puts carbs on, but it runs perfect. So it's actually like a really nice survivor with no problems.
Very cool.
So,
well, okay, that explains. So this is getting sold.
That's getting sold because
there's a 32 hot rod, and then now there's a truck.
Right. So he goes, I really enjoyed building that C10. I kind of want another C10, because here's what he likes, and this is great. He likes working on and restoring the car in like a very narrow area, or like there's a particular thing he likes doing with cars, which is like the restoration, the cleanup, and some of the mechanical stuff. He's like, he didn't drive the 914. It didn't need anything. I don't think he did much of anything. It
was an exceptionally good purchase.
Yes, it was.
If we're selling at 16,000, it's an exceptionally good buy that he
made. It was, we put a prototypo on it and new battery and something else. Like I forget. It was not much. And he's like, yeah, it's all right, but it's not his thing. And so selling that, and I was like, all right. Well,
what about your mom? Does your mom like it? Like the little convertible driving around?
She doesn't care.
Get it out of here.
Yeah.
Does she like any cars, or is there
she doesn't like anything? She doesn't like anything. Nothing. That's mean. Sorry, Mom. No, she's just not super into it. He always wanted a 32 hot rod, and that's coming along, but I think it's like he likes the idea of having like a project that is running and driving that he can then go through and clean up and work on as it goes, whereas the hot rod was basically parts and pieces that he purchased. Right. And so it's slow. Right. And he was like, yeah, I would love to do another truck. That was fun doing that type of work. And we know them now. I was like, great. Well, I want to just buy you out of the C10, because here's the other thing. Because he doesn't like driving his cars and he's very precious about it.
You got to talk him out of that. There's no, like, you got to drive the thing. It's a tool.
I know. But like when I drive the truck around and I use it, like we moved the studio in that thing. It was great. Yeah,
you showed and he's like, couches
you drove into St. Paul with that thing? What if you hit a huge pothole or got shot or something? Anyways. Yeah, and so I'm like, you know what? I want to buy you out so I can do what I want with it. You don't have to worry about it. Then it's my truck. And then, yeah, we went and got this other one, which was fitting for Father's Day weekend.
Yeah.
We kind of road trip down to, it was like Iowa, closer to the Dakotas, past Lake, what's the one lake in Iowa? It was where, yeah, thank you. Who was the
lake in Iowa? It's pretty easy to pick out.
Yeah. And who was was it Buddy Holly, I guess his plane went down there?
Oh, I don't know. I just remember going to get my Chris craft there and like getting conned and paying $10,000 for it, and I had a handgun shoved in the glove box because the guy wanted to meet me at like 9:00 at night.
That's weird. It's a weird like resort town in the middle of nowhere, though.
Yeah,
like it was really built up. So, yeah, drove down, got out there. Oh, it was funny.
How'd you find this thing?
He's been okay. Here's the other thing. He's been scouring Marketplace for probably the last 6 months.
Okay,
like just on and off, and as we kind of know, the dopamine is the purchase. It's actually the hunt, right? It's the hunt.
Yeah.
It's the mental build out of like, what could I do with this? What is the plan? Oh, this is really exciting.
That's how dopamine works in general.
Right. And then once
like
the purchase
I can't
itself,
wait for my wife to get home.
Right. It's the build up.
And so like,
But my point here is like, all right, he found this. He doesn't like rust, so he's trying to find the cleanest example of it. And finds this one. He's like, yeah, I've been talking with a guy. I don't know. It's like the bed is pretty much shot. And then he finds one in Colorado. And he's like, this one's really clean. And I was like, yeah, but how much cleaner is it to go all the way out there? Is it worth it? What is really different about it? And so then I tried to figure out who we knew in Colorado that was by this thing. And I was like, no, that's not worth it. So I was like, all right, let's go down on Saturday to Iowa. I looked at the photos. It looks good. The one thing that's cool about this, it is a 62, which is the same like generation or era, but it's the GMC. And it used to be that GMC was more than just a rebadged Chevy. That was more of like a stripped down work truck. That's what GMC is today, right?
Right.
Used to be that GMC was differentiated. So the GMC has a different grille that is very unique. It has quad headlights instead of just my singles. It's all chrome, which is kind of the opposite of what you think for GMC versus Chevy. So it was almost more luxurious. And they had a completely different line of engines in these trucks. So GMC manufactured their own V6, which is 100% immediately going to be ripped out of that truck because it's not good. But it was it's very unique in that sense. Like they are very different and unique trucks.
Jake,
go ahead. Yeah.
Where's the LS that's in your garage?
I sold that. Because you told me to.
I know, but that would have been perfect for this truck.
No, my dad has a Chevy small block in his garage.
Because I told you to. Like I'm some sort of slave driver.
No, I'm just
for you to sell
you're always
LS.
right. Oh, Chris is always right. So I'm Mr. Always Right. I'm blaming you so that you can take onus a little bit.
Well, you bought it without asking me to put in our van.
Yeah, and I bought it with my own money.
I know.
And you're like, no, we're not doing that. Which I agree, because the van is cool, but I would rather get like a very clean example to start from if we're going to hot rod the van.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, yes. So no, LS is gone, but my dad has a Chevy small block that'll go in it because this V6 is, dude. Okay, you should look this thing up. Look up the GMC Twin 6 because this was their heavy duty truck motor. Their whole point was they wanted to have the smallest one, by the way, is a 305 cubic inch V6. That's massive, dude.
Wait, say that again.
305 cubic inch. which is most V8s.
Holy smokes.
This V6. The largest one was over 700 cubic inches in a V6. Now, the twin 6, this was literally, this is the V12 that GMC made.
Holy crap.
They put these from the factory and they're heavy-duty
liter
trucks.
V12.
Yes. So GMC made their own V6. It's all iron. The smallest V6 version that's in my dad's truck weighs 700 pounds.
Well, how do you get one of these, Jake? This is
you literally buy another one and bolt it onto it and get the crank. But they're very long, as you can see, and very heavy, and don't make much power.
Up to 200,000 miles.
They basically wanted to make a simple engine that would replace the need for diesels at the time.
Yeah.
So they were way overbuilt.
Why did they want to get rid of them? Oh my gosh. 135 horsepower.
Yes. Yep. That's it. What's crazy is, no, I know it's not very good at all, but it's very interesting.
1.2 meters in length, 1,500 pounds.
Yes.
However, this is 275 horsepower. Is less powerful than the big block V8s, but it delivered 630 pound-feet of torque at 1,600 RPMs. Yeah. More than any muscle car V8 or even the Viper V10 developed 30 years later.
And even the small 305, which is the smallest of these GMC V6s, I think makes like 300 foot-pounds of torque, like off idle.
Yeah. Wow, this thing is pretty neat.
They're
one of the rebuilt, if you want to get one rebuilt by this company, Thunder V12.
Okay.
They make 425 horsepower. Going past the 600, they think is possible, but you're going to need some aftermarket upgrades.
Well, yeah, there's like no part support for them. They're super heavy. They redline at like 4,000 RPM, like with performance parts.
Imagine that's a lot of mass.
It's like 5-inch pistons, just cast iron going up and down.
Literal coffee cans. We're just like, oh man, that thing's got coffee cans for pistons.
No, this one definitely does. Yes.
It's like a Folgers can going up and down at 4,000 RPMs.
Right. And also I think the head gasket is leaking on this particular version. The dude that had it had no idea what was going on.
Okay, so
he's like, all right, take it around the block. So we found it in a marketplace. We go down. It's in Iowa. And the guy, here's what's interesting about it. He goes, yeah, I bought this from my mom's uncle. And because he was, I assume, quite old because it's 2 generations past this guy. And so we didn't realize until he brought out the title that he never transferred over the title to himself. And I was like, oh, so how long did your uncle have it? And he goes, oh, well, he bought it. I was like, yeah. New. He bought it new in 61. It's the 62 model year. He bought it in 61. And sure enough, on the title is issued 1961, which is super cool.
You're basically the second owner.
So he's the second owner of a 1961 truck.
Jeez, that's awesome.
Yeah. But so that GMC
I wonder
V6,
if FCP Euro carries parts for this truck.
Well, I was just going to say, the GMC V6 you can't get a lot of parts for. But for just about anything else European, be it Porsche, Volkswagen, BMW, Volvo, Audi, FCP Euro is your one-stop shop. It is a catalog with over 275,000 unique products, including expert-assembled kits to make shopping easier. Whether you're doing a suspension overhaul or an oil change, these kits really take the guesswork out of the process. And we're wondering if those bolts are maybe one-time use stretch bolts that you probably would reuse anyways if you were me. But every product they sell does come back with a lifetime replacement guarantee, even wear items like wiper blades, brake pads, oil filters. I did think about being a cheapskate and sending all my used oil back because I just did an oil change kit for the Macan. Right. But no, I can't. But what's great about the kit is it came with the new drain plug and the little crush washer, which I have a whole thing of those copper crush washers. But then I had to go and I don't know what size it was. I don't know any of that. Takes the guesswork out of it. Has the right filter.
That's what Jesse would do when we had the Golf R. Which the 211 is due for an oil change, so we'll probably end up getting a kit of some sort for that.
That's the way to go.
That's much more straightforward since it's a little older. It doesn't have a bunch of dumb
FCPeuro.com. Oh, dude. Okay. Speaking of, I didn't tell you at all about this. Okay. Speaking of things going wrong.
Everybody, Jake has ADHD, just so you know.
100% diagnosed, yes.
Because we were talking about the original title, and now we're somewhere.
Okay,
else.
you're right. All right, let me come back to that. But the title, let's finish the truck title story. Anyways, kind of cool that that's the case. And that's the truck.
What's the truck? That's it. That's it. You got the truck.
I don't know. What else do you want to know?
I want to know, like, what was the guy like? Was it on a farm? How did it drive?
Okay.
You drove it?
It was on like a hobby farm. You're right. Okay, here we go. Thank you. I needed to be
what are we
redirected
talking about
back
here?
on
Tell
track.
me the story.
It's like bumper bowling. I need you to bump me back on track here. Boy, I gotta. Okay, so we get down there. The dude is, it's on like a very clean, like little hobby farm. Like he doesn't farm for a living, but it was like a farm. It's pulled out from the pole barn that it clearly was sitting in. And he must have just reinflated the tires that I'm pretty sure. So they instituted the standardized date code system on tires in like 79, I believe. And these didn't have it.
No, those are not even bias ply tires from what I can see.
No, but the rears were studded snow tires from like 69 probably.
Yeah, they look gnarly.
They were gnarly. So he probably just reinflated the tires and like pulled it out of the barn. And he
surprised the tires inflated.
I know. He didn't know much about it. He said, I had my mechanic buddy go through the brakes. That was it. And he's like, it probably needs a carb rebuild, but I didn't do that or anything. But it started and idled, and the brakes had pressure. And so we're like looking it over, and he's like, you want to, take it out for a spin? I was like, okay. And he's like, you can just go down the dirt road, and like we're in the middle of nowhere. And he's like, there's a stop sign quarter mile up. And so we go. There was no stop sign. I think I was supposed to turn. So we drove it a good like 3 miles just on dirt roads back there. And
did you drive
the carburetor? I drove it. The carburetor definitely needed to be worked on. I think the ignition timing was way off and retarded because it did not want to just accelerate. It was like it just didn't want to keep accelerating. So it was a dog. Luckily, it has 300 foot-pounds of torque off idle because that's all we were doing. It's just like barely using the idle to get by, and rattled a lot. It stank like mice because it lived in a pole barn. Luckily, the only piece of upholstery on the entire truck is just the seat. And so it's amazingly clean, though. So the guy must have had it sitting outside forever and probably hauled like salt once in the bed, and it was sitting at a slight downward angle. But then he just never drove it. So the cab, the underside, everything is very rust-free and clean, except the bed, the forward part is all just rotted out. Huh. Like rain accumulated, rust there, but everything else is clean. And it is low miles, so clearly
I did see in the picture that the bed was all like kind of like sad. And kind of
the bed is sad because it's literally, so the way those work, there are frame rails, and then there are metal cross members. On top of the cross members is the bed wood. They did not go to a steel bed floor until 65 or 6. So then on top of the wood is literally the bed sides. The bed body panels are on top of the wood, which is on top of the cross members. So if the wood is gone and rotted out, which it was, the whole bed just punk and like it's just now sitting and floating there.
Okay.
So that's what it was. Yeah, that's why it looks very sad. So drove it, did not drive.
What does something like this cost? Did you tell me about the negotiating process?
Okay, he started. Process. So here's our reference point. Is the first C10 we pulled out of a field in North Dakota for $2,000.
Is that yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
The blue truck.
Yep.
There was a fair bit of work in that. Like this one actually is in better shape than that blue truck was, because the fenders got replaced, the floorboards got replaced. Like there was quite a bit of rust repair on that one.
Is the GMC more of a desirable truck?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So it's in better shape, more desirable truck, and the market has gone a lot crazier since, I don't know what that was, 6 years ago.
What's interesting is I thought, like, I had this sense that when all the boomers started to kick it,
yes,
and the generation above that started to die, I thought that this stuff would get a lot cheaper.
Hot rods have.
What happened?
Hot rods and street rods have. No one wants those.
And we're talking about highly modified stuff, right?
Yes, I'm talking like the
Boyd Coddington style
stuff.
Yeah, okay,
exactly.
But anything that's kind of original and just old,
C10s
no
especially have gone up.
It's holding value, whether it's a Model A or a Camaro. If it's like original and just a car, it's worth a bunch of money.
I think
nobody wants to put on their dad's sport coat. You know what I mean?
Right. I do. And that your dad's sport coat, that was all the stuff.
It's a style
1950s.
Choice.
Well, it was usually 1950s. Because what you're emulating is like the hot rod culture of the 60s. And so you weren't hot rodding like your mom's sedan because it was new at the time. Right. And so I think anything that now we think is cool or that is still valuable or interesting is basically like 1960 and up, is still newer enough to not be the old generation's fuddy-duddy. We've seen it before and didn't like it.
I'm just wondering how this all evolves, because as we go into like this EV lane and we start pushing in that direction, and so it kind of reminds me of music a little bit, because for a long time we had old school shit from the 20s and 30s, and then the 40s and then 50s we started to get a little bit of rock and roll, and then we have classic rock from the 60s and 70s. And I feel like we're kind of, music and technology are kind of following the same path, where music is kind of homogenizing a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I don't find, as maybe that's just old me going, wow, nothing now.
That could be a lot of it for sure.
But I feel like cars are kind of the same way. Like, what are we doing? Nothing's interesting anymore. I don't know. It just doesn't seem.
It's interesting to me too to think about this. We don't have a lot of data to look back on as far as like what is the trajectory. Because think about it this way: my dad was a kid growing up in the 60s, and so he thought at the time when he was a kid, that's when the big hot rod craze was going on. In the mid 60s, that's when guys were all hot rodding the cars from the 30s and stuff. So that's why, and it's usually probably the generation before him that was originally doing it, but he still finds it interesting. And that's why he has a 1932 hot rod that he wants to build up. Whereas the following generation, us, don't care about that older stuff. We're interested in classic cars, but classic being...
There's a select few guys that are into that stuff.
Really, what's popular for our generation, though, is the cars that we grew up with, and that's why the whole rad wood era of things is popular right now.
I just don't know what the cycle is. I used to think that the cycle was like, we had kind of peaked it and we're coming down to this valley, but I still think this arc is still kind of going. You know, I don't know what the cycle for classic cars is going to be. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think a lot of it will have to do with regulation and how that plays out in the next 20 years. But yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, okay, so this GMC's rare, it's truck, the bed's falling off.
But it did have the studded tires. I did check; they were not Nokians. But we do, of course.
I mean, I'm sure you could put some on there.
We could put them on there. Yeah, and we could even put on maybe their newest tire, which is the Surpass ASO1. It's basically a high-performance tire with all-season capabilities, made specifically for drivers who want to get the most out of their cars or trucks without sacrificing capability when the roads get slick. We know all too well how unpredictable roads can be, whether you're out on one of our rallies or on one of your own adventures, or even just running to the grocery store. So that's why the new Surpass ASO1 is so great. It offers the grip of a dedicated performance tire, but won't leave you stranded if the road or weather gets rough. Also has the 55,000-mile warranty and offers Nokian tires pothole protection. If you happen to damage your tire beyond repair, Nokian will replace it for free. And if you wanted to get some studded tires, you, of course, have the Haka Polita, the actual invention, the first of its kind winter tire. None other than Nokian Tire. Check out NokianTire.com.
All right, I want to talk about my Volvo eventually, so hurry up.
No, you don't get to. You're the one that put me back on track. So anyways, the dude, he had the brakes done by some guy. We take it out for a couple miles, and I'm hoping the car will clean up. Like, it clearly hasn't been driven much. If I'd just try to get into it, and I want to see if it's we'll rev up a little bit more finally. And it didn't, but we got some heat into it. And so it comes back and he was like, it's smoking. I was like, what? He's like, why is it smoking? I was like, I don't know. So I saw a wisp of smoke under the hood. I don't know. And so I opened it, and the valve, not valve cover, it was the actual head, is like weeping oil out of it onto the exhaust.
And you're like, yes, good.
I'm like, all right.
I got to be waiting for the hail.
Yeah.
On my
I was
roof.
like, what is this about? And he was like, all right. And I was like, yeah, the motor, that's not great. Like, that's coming from the head. Like, you're going to have to pull the head. And realistically, I'm like, I don't want this motor anyways. And
it
we have
matter.
The motor.
You can still leverage that.
Yes, exactly. That. And the bed rust was worse than we thought, and blah, blah, blah. So started at 65. When we went to go get it, he lowered the price to 55, and we got it for 45.
Is that good? You
I
think?
think it's quite
Fair.
good.
Fair. Good.
My dad was back and forth on it, and he was almost ready to walk away at one point. He was like, it's not great. And he's looked at so many of these damn things online that's the problem. And he's like, well, there's obviously more out there. I was like, yes, but you're either going to pay more for those or they're not as good as you think they are. Like, for me, it's like, just get one that you
gotta
like.
just ask the girl to marry you, you know?
Yep. And then you can put in the work. And so he was kind of, whatever. Okay. Fairly happy. And then he called me yesterday after getting it home, unloaded and cleaning it. And he goes, I am so happy we bought this one.
Good.
It is so clean. He's like, I started tearing out the seat and I started cleaning up the interior. It's just like, it's like new. The frame of the seat, like you flip the seat over, like obviously the upholstery wasn't bad, but it was like smelly, like probably rat infested. But the spring wires and everything weren't rusty.
Really?
Like no rust. Everything was just, like original paint, which is cool. So that was good. Came with a few 22 shells in the glove compartment, which is always a good bonus.
Leave them in there. Good luck.
He was very happy with it. So that's exciting. And then I bought a manifold to put these on. I'll get you to your Volvo in a minute, but we were talking about FCP Euro and I did the oil change on the Macan.
Yeah.
So 2 other things happened. Okay. One is...
Tell me that piece of shit's going away. Where's overcrestproductions.com /
It's a brand new car.
Macan.
It's funny. I keep thinking that is like the new car. That's our newest car. That's the newer car. It's over a decade old.
Yeah, I was going to say it's like 12 years old or something like
that.
It's
a 2015. So it's, like 10, 11 years old. But the power steering, like it needed a lot more effort at times. And what? You heard leaded? It leaded off itself into the ditch.
I thought you were going to say, it leadeth me astray. Like you were just the car has leadeth me.
It very well could have, yes. Which it does have like the bumper, speaking of bumper bowling, I call it bumper bowling mode. Like that generation of auto drive or whatever, auto steer.
Yeah.
It's after they did the reset, because I got a new windshield after getting a crack in it. And of course you have to bring it to the dealer for them to recalibrate it because the camera is up in the windshield. It did actually do a lot better.
Your insurance, your car is making my insurance that much higher.
Yeah. Thanks. It was great because they covered all of it. You're welcome.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure I'm in your pool paying for your stupid windshield. And the $900 alignment that you got for it afterward.
Yeah, it was 800 something.
Yeah, see?
I think for just the calibration. But I think they updated some software too, because now it actually does track like much better. It doesn't just bumper bowl. It like kind of follows.
Great. Yeah,
which
is
great.
That's super useful.
Anyways, however, when you are just manually steering, Chris, it almost felt like either it was low on power steering fluid, because there was like almost a delay in like the assist. You know what I mean?
Does it have hydraulics?
No, it does not have hydraulics.
It has an
steering. It has electric steering.
Yeah.
So it can't be low on fluid. And I'm like, what the hell? So there's a calibration procedure. I went through the calibration procedure. That didn't do anything. I went underneath and like disconnected all the electronic connections and reconnected it. Didn't do anything.
No wonder you haven't come over to see my new house yet.
I know.
You're always working on this piece of shit Macan.
It literally feels like, and I think this was the case, is when you're steering, it's like the sensor for telling you where your steering wheel is or where the effort is didn't keep up with. It's like, oh right, okay, now apply power. Oh yeah, we're turning, because you'd get it and be like, you'd fight it and then it'd catch up. It was like a delay. So I looked at it. It is a $7,000 part. The steering rack. It's a one piece unit. The whole steering rack is one unit. You can't just buy the motor. You can't just buy the sensor. You can't buy the controller. It's one unit. $7,000.
Oh my god!
A lot of guys say with installation you're at close to $10,000.
How much?
And
is
so I was like,
worth?
I don't know,
it's
25, 30. Yeah,
it's total.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna it's not supposed to be serviceable. But I Googled, and there's like the control module is part of the entire assembly, but you can take like the 6 torque spits out and take the whole module out. And so I took it out and I was like, oh, there's all these capacitors that look very dangerous in there, and like really big high-end circuit like connectors.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of voltage and amperage going through that thing. And I was like,
I think
this
the
is
Volvo
scary.
Power steering, electric power steering that I might put in my truck. It was like a hydraulic pump, or whatever. It's not. It's still a hydraulic system.
Electro-hydraulic system.
It's like 25 amps, dude.
I know. I looked at this thing and I was like, oh, this is serious. Okay, and so I just like put it on the bench without touching anything, and I'm just looking to see like, is there corrosion? Is there something visibly broken? I don't know. I'm hoping something is obvious, so I'm not spending nearly 10 grand
or something. That's all.
I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. Everything looked great and clean. Fine. Put it back together. I've screwed around enough with this thing. I put that back in. I put the plugs back on, and I just, for the hell of it, I bang on it. It worked. Everything works now.
Okay,
I don't know.
Oh man,
everything works, so that's great,
dude. You need to sell it right now.
I probably do, but it's we love the car. Like it's the perfect size. I don't like any of the new ones. I like this thing.
Well, now you're in the boat that I'm in, where you have a car or a period of thing that you like.
Yeah.
And now you're going to be constantly searching for the low mileage versions of that. The W211 that we have with 50,000 miles on it, incredible car.
Yeah, I know you're saying that.
Does all the things we need it to do, nothing we don't need it to do. So now I'm like, do I need to start hoarding these? Do I need to like get another one? And do I need to get the V8 version for myself and find a low mileage one of those? Like, what am I gonna do? Because in 20 years you won't be able to find one, but I really like it. So now you've got to find a low mileage version of yours and pay the premium.
Yeah. All right,
and then put this one out back as a junkyard truck.
The junkyard truck. Okay,
this is what you do. You ever been driving along the road? And someone's got like a Mitsubishi
like
Eclipse in the driveway. Yeah, but like next to it are like 7 other Mitsubishi Eclipses in various states of disrepair. That's gonna be Jake's Macan. You're gonna be the Macan guy. In like 30 years, they're gonna be like, Jake. Some guy's gonna love Macans. He's like, hey, I know this guy in Afton. He's got like 7 of those. He's fucking crazy.
He's a weirdo. Who hoards those?
He's a weirdo.
They're in the woods.
I heard he used to be like 5'4", but now he's just shy of 5 feet. He's getting old.
It's just the Macans are just grinding him down.
If anybody's got that $7,000 steering rack, it's him.
Oh, he's got him.
So this has to be something that someone has created a secondary market for. If it's that ridiculous, someone has to have created a secondary repair service or an exchange.
On Alibaba, you can take the module out that I took out and you can send that to them.
Okay.
And they'll like rebuild it.
How much?
It was like, I don't know. It was too expensive to try to see if that was it was like $500, $300. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
there's always, anytime this shit happens, there's always somebody on the secondary market comes out.
But I also don't know, because that's just the control. Like, who knows if the motor goes out, then what? Or some other thing.
You gotta, what is an older, simpler car that you can get into? What is something why don't you get like a 2007 G-Wagon or something that's like a little simpler? They're not cheap
that
to work
also
on.
I know, like, that also is gonna have problems.
But it's conventional. It's conventional problems. You're not pulling a module out with capacitors that look like they're going to stop your heart. You know what I mean? Seriously. So like, what?
I know.
Have you been in a G-Wagon?
Oh yeah, we test drove a couple. Nikki liked them.
What was the problem? Why? Like,
I don't know.
Jesse wants one real bad.
Yeah.
They made so many. They're so common. They're conventionally built.
For the most part.
I mean, a lot of systems got stacked on top of things, but it's more conventional, especially in the early 2000s. You can get them, and they're like pretty straightforward. Now, I think they look old on the interiors and stuff, and I think that's what it was.
Thinking back, was like the interior seemed older than it was. It was good materials, don't get me wrong, but it's like just you clearly had like the DIN modules like stacked up on the dash, and like the old wood burl, interior.
Well, that changed. I love my burl wood steering wheel. I never thought I would like it, but I love holding it and touching it. It just feels nice.
Kris likes the wood.
No. It's actually yes. I like the feel of the wood in my hands. The way the smoothness of it slides back and forth as I
I know it all too well.
Choose where I want the wood to point.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of where you want things to point.
Oh, gosh, poor Onyx.
If you're looking for more direction in your life, perhaps the best app to navigate your next adventure, look no further than Onyx Off-Road. With over 750,000 miles of trails and comprehensive offline maps, you can explore without worrying about cell service. The app features trail ratings, detailed information, and a Discover tool to help you find trails near you. Onyx Off-Road also includes public and private land boundaries, so you know where you can and cannot legally off-road camp and explore. If you want to stay connected, the app features a self-service layer so you can plan your route with service in mind. Great for emergencies, stay in touch. But it also has full offline capability. You can also add peace of mind with a wildfire layer. This helps you avoid active fires and smoky areas. You also have tools like the Route Builder that we've used, waypoint marking, real-time updates, and route sharing. You'll be fully equipped for any adventure. Try it for free 7 days and hit the trails with confidence. Download Onyx Off-Road today.
Yes, you should.
You bought a Volvo.
I know. Everybody knows I bought the Volvo, right? Yeah, we did a whole episode on the Volvo. So I get a call or I get a text from Bill, who's working on the car. Good dude. Helped us with the Scirocco. And he goes, it's making noise. Like it's making a tapping sound. Like it's making a noise, like a rod knock. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, well, figure out what it is. I get a text message the next day and it's the drain plug.
Oh no!
And it just looks like anti-seize.
Yep,
like
just
the
sludgy
metal. And he shows me the drain pan, and it's got metal in it. And he says, "I'll call you tomorrow. I'm going to pull the rod caps off.
Yeah,
rod bearing caps
See
off. We'll take a look. Crank looks okay. Rod bearings actually look okay.
Okay.
Calls me again. He's like, "Hey, it's piston slap."
Ooh, that's worse than any bearings.
It's worse.
Much worse.
Because the block is toast.
Yeah.
Right? So I sent a message to the previous. This won't be a long story. I sent a message to the previous owner, whose name is Nicholas. We don't need to out him any more than that. And I go, "Hey man," I sent him the picture. I said, "The motor in the car you sold me it's toast." And he goes, "Sorry. I didn't know." So I'm like, "Dude, do you want to help me out a little bit here?" Because I just think about like what I would do in this situation, which is, first of all, I would never sell a car to someone with an engine that I knew was blown up. I just wouldn't do it.
Do you think he actually knew? Let
me continue.
Okay.
And what I would do is I'd be like, you know what, man, I'm really sorry. If I didn't know and this happened, it's I'm really sorry. What can I do to make it right? Is the first thing I say. Can I give you $250 back? $500? It's the best I can do. I'm not taking the car back. I'm not giving you your money back.
No.
But also I'm not saying F off, which is essentially what this kid was saying to me. Okay. I kind of let it go. And I've already sold the car to a friend. So I'm kind of in a mode where I'm like, okay, what am I going to do here? I've got to fix this car. I've sold it to a friend already, after to use on the rally. I've already bought suspension. So the struts and the springs and the panhard bar and everything are already there. I've already bought wheels. The wheels are already there. I am deep, dude. I'm not only digging myself a hole, but I have a team of hole diggers that are digging a hole so
just
deep.
Helping you.
So I'm like, all right, what am I going to do? And I'm kind of looking around and trying to find a motor or stuff like that. And I think I found one. I got a call on Monday. I keep forgetting to call. Like $650 for an engine. Like none of this is none of this is a big deal.
No.
You can tell I'm in front of window light. It just keeps getting darker and darker. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
So I start looking around at websites and stuff like that and trying to find motors. And I kind of get a message from the friend who's purchased the car. He goes, "Hey, check this out." And I see a link, and it's from a few years ago about someone describing a tapping sound that they can't eliminate, and the mechanics can't find out what's wrong. And lo and behold, in the comment section is Nicholas. I bought this car, blah, 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 blah. This is now my car. So the dude knew 100%, unequivocally knew. So I sent him a message again. I'm like, "Hey man, check this out. And it's like a screenshot. Like, how do you feel about this? Didn't change anything. Don't care. Not my problem. You bought a used car. It's old. You know, you should have done your due diligence. And that's basically it. You know, basically told me to go.
That's
go suck a bag of dicks. Basically, is what the guy told me to do. And I just can't. You know, it's always buyer beware. This stuff happens. You know, sometimes you get a shitty deal, but I'm just really, really disheartened by that somebody would do this. I feel really, really.
I think what is maybe core to that thought is that we take it upon ourselves to kind of foster such a inclusive community, and one that is so like giving. Like the Overcrest, everyone in the Overcrest community that we've met have been so like gracious with each other and so helpful and just go above and beyond to help each other. And so
that when something like this happens, it's weird.
You
like
go,
he goes, I'm sorry, but I truly did not know about the state. I don't really think an average person could be expected to know something like that. And I just sent him the picture screenshot again where he, I'm like, you knew. Yeah. You fucking knew. At least don't lie to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't lie. Why lie? I've busted you. I've caught you.
Right.
You know, just ghost me or something.
Just like do me a favor and ghost me.
So karma will come around.
Yeah, I know.
Get this guy.
So
go ahead.
No, so you found another motor for it.
Probably found a motor. We'll get it taken care of. We got a few weeks, and
these are the red block, you know, where it's an iron
it's called
block.
the B20. Well, there's all kinds of different. I found out different variations of, as there is with anything else, right?
Yeah,
there's all kinds of different variations. So we found one. Guy wants
My question is this:
for it.
Can you re-sleeve the block? Is it worth doing that?
You could get it oversized pistons and bore it out and do stuff like that, but I feel like that's just too much.
Yeah. If there's a motor ready to drop in.
If there's a motor ready to drop in, just put the fucking motor in. Let's go. You know,
did you buy side drafts for this thing?
I did not. Thank God I didn't spend more money on the car. I'm already going to be underwater, which is okay. It's like a rental fee. You know, it's fine.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I get that.
The guy who owned it grew up in one. You know, his mom drove one, so it's a really cool story. You know, so I'm
the
really
guy that is buying it from you.
Yeah, so I'm really happy that he's excited about the car, and it's emotionally and important to him. So I'm going to take care of it and make sure it's right and reliable and everything like that. So that's awesome. That's an update on the Volvo. I plan on going out to Connecticut in like second week of July or something like that.
Yep.
And then scout out in Appalachia. We can talk about that, like Southern Appalachia. Think that's like Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina is where the rally is going to be this year. I'm really excited. I have not spent a lot of time driving out there outside of around the Georgia area.
Yep, same.
So I'm super excited to go out there and scout. So if you aren't signed up on the email list to get more information when the rally is coming, now's the time to do it.
Better hit that up. Overcrestproductions.com/subscribe.
Also, if you are not a member of the Drivers Club and you're thinking about coming to Camp Overcrest and doing that kind of stuff,
might be worthwhile.
You need to be on the list. You need to be on the email list or you need to be on the Drivers Club first because they're going to get first crack. Email list is second. General public dirt bags is third, and that's coming third. All right,
big things happening.
Big things happening. We will see you guys next week. We've got a history episode for you guys next week. Yeah. Jake put something together. I'm really, really excited to hear what that is, and that's what's coming out in. Gosh, what's it gonna be? Yeah, next week. All right, I'm out of brain neurons right now. We're gonna let everybody go. We'll see you guys then. All right,
take care.
Hello, goodbye.